This is a new sauce from the makers of Liam Perrins. It's an elegant suffusion of sun-ripened tomatoes and the quintessential Worcestershire sauce that...
That makes good food great. Tomato and Worcester table sauce, new from Liam Perrins.
There's a connection there.
Damn it.
And we're back.
Ooh.
Ooh. With a spooky episode of South Park.
Yep, it is. It's a spooky one.
I was waiting for Rachel to do something spooky.
Oh, am I so... I don't know.
Oh, how
brains.
spooky. Yeah, there you go. Yes, brains. This is the 7th episode of South Park entitled Pinkeye, directed by Trey and Matt, written by Trey, Matt, and Philip Stark. It aired on October 29th, 1997. Rachel?
Yes.
What happens in Pinkeye?
So, the main premise, there's a death of Kenny. There is a accident with Worcestershire sauce. And there's an outbreak of pinkeye.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire with wasabi and wiener schnitzel.
That's right.
Yes, an outbreak of zombies.
It's actually more of a zombie than pinkeye, but they call it pinkeye.
Yes. That's misdiagnosed as pinkeye. So what happened between death and this episode? The original 6 episodes that Comedy Central determined to pick up ended with death. But because of the show's popularity, they said that they would give them an additional 7, making it for a total of the 13 episodes that are in season 1. But Trey and Matt were like, we need some more time to be able to actually complete these. They weren't in their 1 week cycle yet, and I think even if they were, they'd be like, we do not have any ideas.
Sure.
So they made a compromise with Comedy Central where they said, like, well, we still need time to be able to do some of these episodes, but what if we did holiday specials? So give us a month and we'll do a Halloween episode, we'll do a Thanksgiving special, and we'll do a Christmas special. So this is the Halloween special, Pinkeye. And I believe that we are entering a pretty good stretch of South Park episodes. To me, this feels like very much like The Simpsons.
A bit stronger.
Almost in like number too. Like they're starting to get it. Cartman feels very Cartman in this episode.
Yeah, they kind of are like actually filling out the characters as they should be.
Exactly. Chef is like that he's got a very protagonist like leading role in the episode.
He does, yeah.
Even Kyle and Stan's personalities are coming through more. The insanity of the town gets
the
set
town
aflame.
mentality. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems to, it's starting to feel lived in, like they're starting to put it together.
Yeah,
in this one, in my opinion, and over the next few are very solid for me. The whole idea of this one, of course, is just that Trey and Matt really like Halloween. They even say they used to when they were first starting, like on their commentary, they're like, we started throwing big Halloween parties for the crew and friends and stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
So they wanted to do something that felt like a fun Halloween episode, and that celebrated how Halloween is fun for kids and adults.
Of course,
So
yes.
that's what this is supposed to be. I assume, unless you're listening to this when the episode first drops, that, well, actually, even if you are listening to this when this episode first drops, this should be one of your annual spooky Halloween traditions.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
You
to
have it
come
on the
back to
list
and
of
listen.
different episodes of different shows that are Halloween-y. You have all of the different movies and all of those different things, and this is one of the fun ones to watch.
So you can watch it around Halloween, and then you can listen to us around Halloween talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
I mean,
right.
I'll say the same thing probably for our spoiler alert or stay tuned. I don't know. For our Halloween special coming up, I have, and I need to like list them out actually, where I listen to the new podcasts of like my favorite podcasts and stuff. But I go back and I listen to, because I do, go for walks and bike ride and drive to work and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm always listening to podcasts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at work, I'm always listening to podcasts. That's the whole point of our show and why we have the length that we do. So I will have, and Rachel knows this because I made her do it when we did a vacation last year.
Of
We
course.
drove. I have Halloween episodes of podcasts. They start in September and they run all the way through October. So
Sometimes
this
they're
is-
like the better episodes for them
Sometimes
too,
they're
and they're
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah. Hopefully, Pinkeye makes your list
That's right.
of podcast episodes, and it becomes an annual tradition. This could be one of the many. Okay, so let's get right into it. This is Pinkeye, fun episode of South Park, or is it? Does it have shelf life? I guess that's the question.
That's the question.
So, an alternative opening for the credits, instead of it just being the regular going down to South Park, there's like spooky noises in the background, and everybody
Yes.
has like a Halloween motif.
Oh,
So
yeah, they all
instead
have
of
a
the guy with the
costume
guitar,
or-
he's like a skeleton. Yeah, they all have costumes.
Yep.
I thought that was
I
different.
think
you know,
that's
you get
fun.
a little...
You got a fun opening for specials.
Yeah, exactly. Specials should have a little fun opening. So the episode starts in space with the Mir space station, which was the Rush. Is it still around? Mir hasn't come out of orbit, right?
I don't think it has. I don't know, actually. I don't know a lot of space stuff.
I didn't want to say that and then not know if Mir is still up there or not. Oh no, it did come out of orbit. It came out of orbit slightly after this episode aired in 2001.
2001? Okay.
I didn't realize that it came out of orbit that long ago, but okay. So, folks at home, and for you youngins, the Mir, and not even youngins, for those of you in college, the Mir space station was the equivalent of the U.S.'s space station. It was the Russian one, the cosmonaut one. Apparently, it came out of orbit in 2001. So
yeah, that's when it ended its mission.
not too far from this episode
How
airing,
weird.
only a few years.
Do you think there was like a zombie apocalypse in
It's very possible.
a little
So,
area where it came down?
no, nothing about this episode is logical, so
Oh, God, no.
I should not be like, so Rachel, did this space station collapsing have anything to do with the zombie apocalypse? But I'm going to say it anyway. So what happens is, it tells you it's October 30th. One of the cosmonauts scares the other because it's Halloween, and then
Right.
an alarm goes off. They're not doing real Russian, clearly.
No,
And then-
they're not. I don't think they do any real languages for a while. Maybe.
No, I don't think that. Yeah, I think sometimes they do real Spanish and maybe Japanese if they know it.
Yeah,
But I don't know if
maybe.
they do much.
But
more
most
than
of the
that,
time, it's just like making noises with their mouths to mimic.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The boys are waiting at the bus stop, and the space station falls on Kenny and kills him.
Yep.
So
You
we don't
bastards.
get. Yes, you bastards. While they're standing there, an ambulance arrives to get him to the morgue.
Yep.
But they leave the space station behind,
Yeah, they
and
just
they
kind
just
of ignore
leave
it.
it there.
It's just ignored, and then the kids go on on with their day.
Yeah, well, the boys start talking about their costumes, and they say they have to go home to get ready, so they leave.
Right.
So, Rachel, did the Mir space station falling have anything to do with what ends up happening? Was it a mixture of the space debris
It's
on
a good
Kenny?
question. It's a good question because like when they were looking at something, we didn't get to see the console, did we? Like, what did it say? Like, was it just that?
No,
oh,
we
it's
had no
just gonna
idea. I
crash
think
out
the
of
alarm just went
sky?
off. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know why.
So maybe
it just
they
went
did
off.
have some alien thing get into the ship. We don't know.
That's true.
You know, it could have
It's
dropped
possible.
down, infected Kenny because it touched him.
Now, the
and then-
Worcestershire lady at the end, kind of knew what was going on, so
Right.
you'd have to imagine the answer to that is no.
I would
it
think
just
the answer
happened
is
to
no.
be. Yeah.
It's just a way to
It just
kill
was-
Kenny.
It was just a fun way to kill Kenny. And a good way to do it because of the fact that Kenny's death is the catalyst for this episode.
That's right.
So they're even using Kenny's death as part of the plot at this point.
Yes.
So we find out that the boys are coming up with their Halloween costumes. They're
Yes.
going to go home. They're going to get ready. And there's a Halloween contest at school that they all want to win because you can win 2 tons of candy. That's what the prize is.
Yep.
Now my guess is, because it's South Park, it is literally 2 tons of candy.
Oh, yeah,
But my guess
probably.
is if it was being advertised in the real world, it would be like a couple of bags of candy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They'd have like the little
it-
disclaimer at the bottom that says like, you know.
It's like 2 of the buckets of candy, maybe.
Sure.
But it's not 2 literal tons.
Be kind of interesting
So-
if it was though. Then
Well,
then my question is what kind of candy? That's gonna
We
matter,
never.
you
That's
know?
true too. Yes, and I guess they missed out on a potential gag here to show that it was a. But the problem is the boys need to be mad about not winning, because if they showed the pile of candy and it could have either been literally 2 tons of candy, and then they would all have been upset that they, like, missed out.
Right.
Or it could have been 2 tons of candy, but it was all the same kind, and, like, one of them did win it, and it was all, like, lemon drops or something, like, terrible that they didn't want. You know what I mean? Okay, so at the morgue, you have the coroner and the assistant, and they're embalming Kenny.
Right.
And as they're doing it, they're talking about how death is so hard on, like, the young or whatever. The assistant...
Yes. Trying to be kind of like, yes, it's worse for the young.
These are... The coroner has such a weird design.
Yes.
I can't tell if they're going for a skullet on the coroner or what is going on there. He's got like a mane of hair.
Yeah, it's like it's the hair that, bald on the top, but it does like the clown ring around, but it's also long. It's
and
weird. It's kind of weird.
It's almost like he's designed to look better as a zombie.
Oh, maybe.
That he is here.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's such an odd look.
I do also like that they have a couple, like, aliens in the background here, too.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, so there's, like, an alien in a jar. I think they also have a couple, like, brains in a jar and stuff,
Oh, I did not notice this.
Yeah.
So the coroner's doing some weird stuff. I mean, it's a spooky episode, that you gotta have spooky stuff in each scene. So the assistant is eating a hot dog, and he puts Worcestershire sauce on it. The coroner is like, do you have to use that all, like, on everything? And the assistant says, it just makes everything taste so British.
Yeah. British.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming for our friends in the UK, our UK listeners, they put Worcestershire sauce on everything. I assume.
Potentially. Is that the brown sauce?
I assume.
Is that what they call brown sauce?
In the UK?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, here we just call it Worcestershire. I'm curious, though, to know, for folks at home, do you use Worcestershire sauce on stuff? Because I think that I clearly meant Trey used it because it's weird and British, and
it's hard to say.
It's hard to say. It has a very distinct flavor, but I think what people use it for is like almost like a steak sauce or like a shrimp sauce.
That's what we use it here as.
Like in America, where God pays attention.
Right, you kind of like add it as like a part of like the meat. We also use it in like that Chex Mix stuff that we have.
Mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a little salty flavor.
I'm curious if people use this, like for the American listeners, like what else do you use it for? But around the globe, do you use Worcestershire on anything? Because it is a British sauce, like seasoning. It's like steak sauce in the U.S. or fucking ketchup or something like that,
Right.
And we just put Worcestershire sauce on all of our stuff because we like that salty British taste. You Yanks put ketchup on it, we put Worcestershire.
Isn't the joke that English people don't have like any flavoring on their stuff? So then
correct, their food tastes like garbage. That's not a joke. That's just a fact.
Oh no. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. So maybe this is their way of flavoring it. They're just like Worcestershire sauce on everything.
Yeah, I mean yes, like how we put salt on everything.
I don't do that. I can't do that. Sometimes like a thing is already salty just because of the way it is. Why are you adding extra salt? Why? It's too much. Salt takes over the flavor then.
I'm a big proponent of salt, so I slightly disagree.
Well, I mean, on fries, sure.
Salt has shelf life.
Okay.
Everywhere.
I'm just thinking extra salt. It's too much.
So they leave the sauce behind, because they leave the room because they're like, just let him drain, because they're draining Kenny's blood and replacing it with the embalming fluid.
Right.
So they're like, well, we'll leave him, let him drain. But for some reason, he leaves the Worcestershire sauce behind, and it tips over into the embalming fluid, which, of course, as we all know,
yes,
because it's happened several times. I won't say it happened several times, but it has happened. If you get Worcestershire sauce and embalming fluid, it turns the person into a zombie.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful.
Yeah, you have to be very careful. Folks at home, if you are a coroner and you're listening to this episode of Shelf Life, first of all, thank you for your service. And second
honestly, yes.
And secondly, of course, make sure that you aren't eating something with Worcestershire sauce on it near the bodies.
Yeah, you gotta be careful about these things.
You could start a zombie outbreak.
Keep it in a different room. Just keep it in a different room.
Yeah, go into the break room with your Worcestershire sauce.
That's right.
Make sure you wash your hands before you go back in.
Oh, that's up to them. That's their choice.
Well, not if it's gonna cause a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, I thought you meant like from the embalming to the Worcestershire
Oh no,
sauce,
the
not
other
the
way.
opposite
I don't care if you get entrails and slime on your fucking hot dog or whatever you're eating. Also, a hot dog while you're embalming a body, is that an inappropriate food to be eating?
Why would that be an inappropriate food? What's a non-inappropriate food then?
Pretzels.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
actually, that'd be fine.
in the real world, you probably shouldn't be eating anything. But
Probably
like,
not.
any meat
in general
in front of a dead body feels
just kind
incorrect.
of rude, just like ignorant. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you
my
eat
opinion.
meat in front of a meat slab currently on your slab?
Exactly. Yes. So Kenny turns into a zombie. He wakes up and he's like, ah, as a zombie. And then he breaks out.
Yes.
So he busts through the door because he's got zombie strength now.
Right.
And he bites the coroner and the assistant before taking off. And they don't seem too concerned about this.
And you'd think that it would be like something that they'd be like, oh my god, the little boy woke up and is alive again?
Well, they're bad at their jobs.
Obviously.
That's clear.
They just
We're
call
in
him a
South
little
Park.
turd and they don't even care.
Yeah, they call him a little turd. I guess they're like, I don't know, I guess he wasn't really dead. Or something. So the next day, Stan shows up to the bus stop as Raggedy Andy.
Yes.
Because him and Wendy are planning to do a couple's costume to try to win the costume contest. Kyle is in a Chewbacca costume. So he is going as the mighty Chewbacca.
It's not even a full Chewbacca costume. It's just a mask.
It's just a mask.
And I'm pretty sure that is this around the same time that there was that like craze with the stupid Chewbacca costume mask that like the mouth would open and go. Is
There's
that
no
like
way.
at the
That's
same
gotta be-
time? It couldn't have been. This had to have been like a while before that.
Way before that, I think. I mean, this is just.
It's just what it reminds me of because like literally
Star Wars nerds.
everyone had those masks when those came out. So it reminds me of that when that happened. I don't even know how many years ago that was.
I'm not even sure exactly what you're talking about.
You don't know
but
what I'm talking about?
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
I'm looking it up on Spirited Halloween right now. So, like, after this episode, Rachel and I have to go to a costume party ourselves.
That's
so
right.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm taking a look at it here. Okay. Anyway.
See if you need to get that mask or what do you want to wear? Yeah.
Yeah. So Kyle is dressed as Chewbacca, and Cartman comes.
Oh my God, Cartman.
Rachel, what's Cartman dressed as?
A German dictator known as Hitler.
Yeah. I don't know if you get flagged for saying Hitler on a podcast.
I don't know.
Anymore.
Should I just call him German dictator?
So they chastise Cartman for wearing the Hitler costume.
As you should. Honestly.
It's not okay. Folks are okay. I don't know. I don't want to start anything here. But in reality, if someone is wearing a Hitler costume, you're just asking to get your ass kicked.
Yes, I would think
really
so.
are.
I would think
And, like-
so. Like, now, if it's from, like, that one, that little rabbit movie.
No, it's not even that. No.
I'd still
there
think
are
you would
no-
you're getting your ass kicked no matter
You're
what.
getting your ass kicked.
Don't
And you
do
deserve
it. Don't try to be
You
like,
absolutely
I'm
deserve to get
Hitler
your
and
ass
I'm
kicked.
I'm being like, I'm
Or like,
making fun
I'm
of
being
him.
edgy. I'm an edgelord. Jerk off. Like, no, you're an asshole. You're gonna get your ass kicked. Like, nobody's impressed with how fucking edgy you are.
No.
You're just a dipshit.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense for Cartman to do this. Because
Exactly.
he represents dipshits
That's right.
around the world.
Yes, he does.
So as they're standing there, they're chastising Cartman, and they're making fun of Stan. So they're going back and forth. They're doing their boy things, and then Kenny shows up because I think as a zombie, it's like one of those zombies where he does the, they go to the mall. They he's
know
doing
their
what he
typical
normally would do.
routine. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that muscle memory type of deal happening.
Yeah.
But he's just
But he's
completely
a
brain
zombie.
dead. Yeah.
And he's rotting.
Oh yeah.
And they make fun of him for showing up without a costume and for
Even
being
though he
poor.
looks like he's in a costume because he looks like a zombie. So you'd think, oh, you dressed up as a zombie. They didn't even make, like, that kind of a joke. It was just like, there's no zombie. Like, there's no
The
costume.
boys don't figure it out until the very end of the episode.
Right.
So they're making fun of him for being poor, for not having a costume. But he's not reacting. And they're almost, like, getting upset that he's not reacting. They're
Right.
like, come on, Kenny, we're making fun of you. Like, you're
Like,
supposed to be
there's
playing
supposed to be like a
along.
back and forth. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, which I like that because, like, as kids, you're like, no, we're supposed to be making fun of each other. Like,
Right.
come on, like, you're supposed to say something back.
Yeah,
You know,
like,
it's
like
almost
make
you're,
fun
like,
of me
ruining
now.
the
What are you
game.
doing?
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's very, true to life.
it kind of is, yeah.
Like the rest of this episode.
Oh yeah.
So
very
the
plausible.
coroner and the assistant go to the doctor, and he diagnoses them with Pinkeye because they have no blood pressure and their temperature is really low.
Right.
And they have some puffy stickiness and redness in their eye. Around
Right.
their eye.
Yeah. That's
So clearly they have pink eye.
Right. All of those are definitely the
Telltale
the-
signs.
exactly the telltale
Folks
signs
at home,
of,
if
pink eye.
if you have no blood pressure or your body temperature is very, very low, you might have pink eye.
That's
and you
right.
really should go get some ointment.
Yeah.
Because you
Gotta get
shouldn't be
an
spreading
ointment.
it.
Lots
Yeah,
of
you don't want to be
ointment.
spreading it. And they also want to eat brains. So he prescribes some ointment for them.
Mm-hmm.
In the classroom, we go to the class, and everyone is dressed as Chewbacca,
That's right.
including Mr. Hat.
Yes.
It's a very, very popular costume that year, was to dress as Chewbacca.
It is kind of cute to see all of them like sitting at their desks
Yeah,
as Chewbacca, though.
It's pretty funny, because they're all just sitting there as Chewbacca.
It's like a little Chewbacca classroom.
I also like that none of them are upset about it except for Kyle. Kyle's
Right.
like the only one that's mad that everyone else is Chewbacca.
I mean, honestly, they should have just been the Chewbacca family at this point, and then
yeah.
Group contest.
Lumpy.
yeah, that's right, Lumpy and all of the
I don't
rest.
remember the rest of them. Lowbacca. Garrison is
Mama
dressed as
Chewbacca. I don't know what
yeah.
any of their names
I don't
are.
remember her name. Somebody's gonna put a comment below of what the fucking family's
Because we
name
know
is.
that somebody has a favorite. Is that Christmas
Yeah.
special? We all
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, we got it. Garrison is dressed as Marilyn Monroe,
of course.
which I thought was appropriate as well.
Yes.
And then Stan realizes and confronts Wendy, because Wendy is also dressed as Chewbacca.
Right?
She's not dressed as Raggedy Ann.
What a bitch.
I'm glad you said it. So Stan confronts Wendy about this, and she says she realized how stupid they would look. So she just changed her costume.
Instead of telling him, like, that's so
and assumed
mean.
that Stan would come up with the same idea.
Wendy. Hi, Stan. You said we were going to be Raggedy Ann and Andy, remember?
Yeah?
We were going to enter the costume contest as a pair.
I know, but then I guess I just realized how stupid we would look.
You what?
I thought you would reach the same conclusion, so I came as Chewbacca.
Hey, Stan, you look almost pretty enough to kiss.
Yeah, you want to be my girlfriend?
Why did she do this to Stan?
I
Was
don't
this just,
know.
Is this just like kids not thinking about other people and not like thinking about it?
Maybe, because I feel like she's also toying with him a lot, too. Because she, like, toys with them at the end of the show, episode, and, like...
Yeah,
and
she does.
She does
kinda.
that, like, in the middle of the episode when she, like, wants to go trick-or-treating and stuff. We'll get to those.
She
but
doesn't think it's a big deal at all, and it's like
No, and then
it's
I
a
feel
very
like she's-
mean thing.
Yes. I don't know. I feel like I think it is one of those kid things where either she wasn't thinking about him at all
Yeah.
when changing her ideas, or is trying to mess with him and is just a very manipulative person. It's one of those.
I don't think that's true about Wendy
I don't know. She might be.
but she's like the Lisa Simpson of this world.
I don't even know if I would count her as a Lisa Simpson of this world.
Really. She's like their.
I know she's supposed to be
Bleeding
like the
heart.
smart female character. That's what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. But sometimes
She still has-
she does these like annoying like things.
She still has 9-year-old tendencies, but she's supposed to
Yeah.
be like the smartest citizen of South
I
Park.
suppose.
Kind of. She's the most liberal one of the show.
I guess that's
She's like the most
true.
like environmentalist.
Well,
like,
I don't
stuff.
ever know if she's actually being I do this for this stuff, or I'm doing this so I look good because look, I'm so much better than you. She
Okay.
always seems like I'm so much better than you. Look at me, like doing this for the environment. Oh my god, like that's how she always comes across to me instead of being like
interesting.
the actual like I'm trying to take care of the environment type of
That's
person.
interesting. Yeah.
But that's how she
interesting.
comes off to me.
Okay. Well,
So maybe
we'll
that's why
have
I'm
to-
seeing her as like a, oh my god, of course she would do this because she's
Well-
just that kind of a person.
We'll have to see. I'm probably putting a lot of like into it, of like thinking about the different stories, and like some of my favorites with Wendy, like the episode where she beats the crap out of Cartman, which is like one of my favorite episodes.
Of course.
So probably like in mixing stuff, but you may not be wrong. We'll have to kind of see, especially with like the way that Trey and Matt's opinions about why people do certain things. So that's interesting.
Yeah, now I'm kind of curious because like that's how she's always been for me. So maybe I see it wrong.
I don't know. Folks at home, let us know. Like, what are your opinions on Wendy and what she did to Stan here?
Yes.
Has this ever happened to you?
Oh my god.
Like, I want to know that.
Have you done a couple's costume or like a partner costume and the other person just like screws you over?
Didn't do it? Yeah.
Like, were you the back end of a horse and they just come as, I don't know. Chewbacca.
Like that. This has to be an occurrence, right? This has to be a more common occurrence than I think it would be.
It's gotta
somebody
be.
just being a total prick and not showing up as the other half of your couple's costume.
Yeah, I want to know. Tell us about it. Tell us about your costumes this year too. I'd love to know.
Yeah, what are your costumes? I don't know. So I can't remember what the context is. I just wrote Wookiees don't live on Endor because that's one of the lines that I've always taken back from this episode. But Cartman is making fun of... Cartman is saying that his costume looks better now because everybody dressed up as Chewbacca, and Kyle's trying to explain to him that it's still not nice to dress up as Hitler.
Yeah, it's not badass. It's not cool. There's nothing, like, fun about that.
And Cartman says something about, like, well, you're just a Wookiee from Endor. And Kyle says, well, Wookiees don't live on Endor. And Cartman goes, beep, 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 beep. And, like, that's always stuck with me. I don't know why. I always remember Wookiees don't live on Endor. And Cartman saying it, like, to make fun of him. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing, though. Maybe he even did it on purpose. Like, he knows that they don't live on Endor, and he did that just to make him say it, so he can be like, like...
I doubt it, because I feel like Cartman is just ignorant to everything.
Probably.
But yes. So Kyle makes fun of Cartman's mom for being on the cover of Crack Horror magazine.
That's right.
This is even like when you find out a lot more about the promiscuity of Eric's mom.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like they're figuring out the lived-in world that they have here with it.
I feel like they were playing, and they were like, oh, well, we'll keep this. Oh, well, we'll keep this. We'll pull this, and we'll, like, make this a bit more, like, of something.
Yeah.
Give it some sustenance.
They've got something here, yeah. Kenny's arm falls off.
That's normal.
And Mr. Garrison is like, Kenny, keep your hands and arms to yourself. Cartman's mom is decorating the house with a very spooky, I was terrified, a poster of Nixon on the front door.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's
pretty
scare
scary.
Everybody off.
Yeah, scare me. And the coroner has fully turned at this point. They're full-on zombies at this point now. They're just going down the streets, wanting brains. They're green.
Right. I do like that Cartman's mom, like, kind of looks at them like, oh, yeah, it's nice costumes. Like, there it is.
Yeah. Like, she's just kind of oblivious because she's just, like, decorating the house and thinking that, like, it's all fun and stuff like that.
Well, I always wondered, like, if the zombie apocalypse does happen on Halloween, would people be ignorant of it and think that they're just people in, costumes and cosplaying and...
There's got to be a crappy zombie movie about that, right? Where it starts...
Like, the only...
on Halloween.
I feel like the only way... See, there's, like, two things. A lot of the times in zombie movies, they don't have it where zombies don't exist in the world, so they don't really know about them or, like, any lore behind it and all of that. So a lot of the times it just happens and, like, they're all very, like, confused by it. So would it be in a world where zombies do exist and, like, the person goes, oh, man, I love your zombie costume, and then they just kind of walk away and then the person eats somebody? Like, that's what I would expect.
Well, if you want to write that screenplay, Rachel, we can certainly do that. Night? No, that would be... I mean, it could be Halloween of the Dead, but I was trying to do, like, Day of the Dead, but what's Dios de
Dead
los
on
Muertos?
Halloween?
But what's that, how do you say that in English? Like,
Day of
it's
the
Day
Dead?
of the Dead, right,
Yeah.
so Day of the Dead of the Dead? I like that.
Day of the
it's
Dead
the
of the
Day of the
Dead.
Dead celebration, but then a zombie outbreak happens of it, and we call it Day of the Dead
Day of the Dead. No, I like yours better.
Okay. Folks at home, let us know which one we'll write that screenplay. Dios de los Muertos. De los Muertos. We kind of did a Lisa Simpson there. There was kind of a Jeremy Irons.
Just a little bit.
So I do have to stop you here, Rachel, though, because I find that I'm fascinated by this thought. So you're saying in the real world,
Yeah.
in our universe,
In our universe, like where we live
Yes.
in? Okay.
yes, the one that we live in currently,
Yes. Okay.
not in the alternate universe that we will one day or have,
Sure.
the Twilight Zone, if you will. If a zombie apocalypse,
Yes.
an outbreak happened on Halloween, would you be able to tell? I think not right away, potentially.
Yeah.
It would depend on how it begins. Does it begin with rotting corpses, freshly dead?
That's a good question.
That thing as
right.
well.
Patient zero type of thing.
I would think that the second that someone bites another person or attempts to
No,
eat
because
them...
I think it would end up being like, oh, rabies type of thing. They would just say it was rabies. Look.
like that episode of like the episode of Community where like that is the
Pretty
the way to get
much.
around it.
They've done this
know.
Before, like the bats in
feel-
Africa, and then they call it like rabies again. Like there's like a lot of different things.
I feel like if and this goes for anything, if I see like a creepy clown on Halloween, like somebody, I don't know if it's
I
ever
avoid
happened,
everybody on Halloween, but
but I feel like somebody will get shot one day because they're going to be like stalking down the street like a zombie or like Mike
Sure.
Myers or whatever, and someone's going to just be like, nope. Fuck it. I don't know if it's real or not. I'm just gonna... And then before the person
Shoot
goes,
first,
no,
ask
no!
later.
They're gonna get shot, yeah.
yeah.
So I guess it depends. But again, we'll write that screenplay and see if we can figure it out.
Or like, what if it was like at a haunted house, like one of those houses where they can chase you and like grab you
no,
and
this
stuff,
is-
and then
no,
like the
this is-
zombie
no,
out.
this is
Oh
even
man!
better,
And like
yeah.
the one guy who's like supposed to be a zombie actually
like
has
this
like the sickness, and then
Dia de los Muertos is coming along quite swimmingly. So we have one group that's at the haunted house.
That's right.
One's at a costume party. One guy's just watching TV.
yes.
That's the chef character. He's like
Right.
watching a thing by himself. Yeah, I like this.
And there's like some breaking news about like some sickness that's happening. You know.
So go to our Patreon and our Kickstarter so that we can get this. Anyway, okay, that was a good segment. Where the hell are we? All right, so
She sees
Cartman-
them. She sees the zombies, and they start eating people.
yeah,
So she likes their costumes. She's singing the most wonderful time of the year, and the zombies just start eating people.
Cartman takes advantage of Kenny at the lunch table by taking his pudding because Kenny's not doing anything.
Right.
He feels like I can just take his pudding.
I mean, yeah, he pretty much is like, well, if you're not gonna say no, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
he's not
ask
saying
this
anything.
question and then
You
take
can't.
it.
Oh yes, Cartman, you can't take my pudding. So folks at home, it's clearly a bad allergy day when we're recording this. So Chef comes by, dressed as Evel Knievel. He asks Cartman what the hell's he doing. He's like, he told me I could have the pudding, not realizing that he's talking about being dressed as Hitler.
Yeah.
There's an innocence to Cartman in this because he truly does not understand why it's a problem because he's an idiot.
Right. And maybe he saw him and he like saw like, oh, he's got a lot of power and he's like an interesting character from like history, and then
As time goes on, Cartman is just a terrible
I mean,
racist
you'd think-
anti-Semite.
yeah.
but at this point they're playing it more like he doesn't get
He's just
it
stupid.
quite yet.
Yeah, but like why did his mom sew the costume
His,
for him?
his
Like
mom's
why
a moron
Yeah,
too,
his-
and
yeah,
just
his
kowtows
mom
to
is a
everything
moron.
that he wants.
Okay, you're right.
So
you're
she
right.
doesn't think about it. She just does whatever he wants.
Very true.
Principal Victoria debuts here. This is the first scene from Principal Victoria. Is the principal for the South Park Elementary School for a couple of decades before she's ousted by the PC principal. She says that Chef has a nice Elvis costume. And I love the back and forth here between
Yes.
them because Chef says, why the hell would I be dressed up like Elvis? And she goes, well, why the hell would you be dressed up as Evel Knievel?
Right,
It's
like
just- like, yeah, well,
like, big
why,
deal. Why would you,
Evel
like-
Knievel?
why did you get offended by Elvis? Like
What in the hell are you doing dressed up like that?
Eating Kenny's pudding?
Hello there, children. Oh, love the Elvis costume, Chef.
Elvis? I'm Evel Knievel. Why the hell would I dress up like Elvis?
Oh, why the hell would you dress up like Evel Knievel? Anyway, I hope that you kids are... Ah! Eric, God bless it. What do you think you're doing?
Hey, he said I could have his pudding. Ask him yourself. That's right, Principal Victoria. It's okay with me because egg is key.
I just love the little quick back and forth. And then
Oh, yeah.
Principal Victoria is like yelling at Cartman too, so she drags him away to show him
to teach him
why. Yes, to give him a teachable moment. And he squeals like a pig, basically. He's like, me about it.
He does squeal like a pig when he yells.
It's like a pig, yeah.
Huh.
Kenny bites Clyde.
Yes.
And Kyle and Stan are like, oh, good, Kenny's back to normal.
Yeah, I guess because he's eating, but, like, he's eating your friend. Like, that's not a good thing. How is that normal?
I took it more as, like, it's impossible to tell if, because Kenny is Kenny. So, like,
That's true.
It's just a normal thing for him to be doing that.
Yeah.
So Principal Victoria makes Cartman watch a movie about Hitler, which, of course, Cartman loves.
Yeah, he
and
thought it
pictures
was so
himself
interesting.
as Hitler. And after it's over, Cartman wants to watch it again. Yeah, he's doing the Sieg Heil. He's saying Sieg Heil and all that stuff. He's a little fat turd.
He is such a turd.
He's
for wanting to
absolutely
be
a
the
turd.
dictator turd. Like, come on, do we have to? I do love that there's the Smokey the bear, or I guess it's Puffy the bear.
Oh, is he called Puffy the bear?
It says it on his hat. It says Puffy the bear. Well, it says
I like
Puffy,
that,
right?
Oh, okay.
And it looks like the forest fire Smokey the bear, right?
Yeah.
And he says dressing like Hitler isn't cool.
Dressing like Hitler in school isn't cool. Yeah.
Like, why?
I like that,
why Puffy
I
the
like
bear?
that he's branched out to be a spokesperson for not dressing up like a Nazi. Yeah.
Interesting. I see what you're saying. Like, he actually is like, oh, I'm going to go into other videos and, like,
he's
help with
helping
other
in
things.
other ways. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's nice.
So Principal Victoria is like, you have to take off the costume. And Cartman's like, but I have to win the candy. So she tells him, well, we'll just make a new costume for you then. And she's like, well, let's see what we can do here. Because she's got a big, thick Minnesota accent.
Oh, yeah, she's got a big, thick Minnesotan accent. So she's like, oh, what do I have around the office? And then she finds a sheet.
And makes him into a ghost.
A ghost. But it doesn't look like a ghost.
Well,
I mean, it looks like a ghost.
It's a scary ghost costume.
Except for the hat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely scary.
It.
It is definitely a scary costume.
The top of it comes to a point.
Yeah.
So in the commentary, Matt and Trey were like, they think the KKK is... so it looks like a Ku Klux Klan outfit.
Yeah, if you didn't understand what you're going for.
He went from one terrible thing to another. And in the commentary, Matt and Trey talked about how they thought that the KKK is just super funny. Because they're like, it's like, how fucking stupid is it? Where it's like, we're gonna dress up as ghosts and scare black people. Like, it's just the stupidest thing.
It is kind of a silly idea. Yeah, it is very silly.
They were like, yeah, if you do it right, fart jokes and the KKK is very funny. Like, it's just
right.
Like, they just think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
because it's like, how fucking stupid are you people? The infection has continued to spread. The kids are in the costume contest now, which is being judged by Sally Struthers.
Mm-hmm.
Sally Struthers was in some sitcom in the 80s. I cannot remember which one.
I
but
think, I think they say in this.
Is it like Family Ties?
Yeah, I think it's Family Ties.
Wait, no. It's not Sally Struthers. Sally Struthers is in Starvin' Marvin. It's Tina Yothers.
Oh my god, they have such, like, the same name. What the
yeah,
flip?
It, like, rhymes.
Okay.
It makes me think that they picked both of those because they sounded similar.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Tina Yothers was in Family Ties? Is that right? I'm trying to see now.
I think so. I thought that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's Family Ties. I never watched Family Ties. I might have, like, seen episodes, but I never, like, was, like, watching it, you know? So I don't even know, like, who she really is.
Don't think but I mean, it's just a sitcom from the 80s, and it's something that they like to do is just pick out a random celebrity. So they're like, yep, she's judging this Halloween costume contest at this elementary school in South Park. Chef is scared of Cartman's ghost costume. Isaac Hayes does a great little, like, scared yell here because he realizes it's a...
Yes.
And Cartman's like, man, my costume must be great. It's scared the crap out of Chef.
Oh my god. I'm such a scary ghost. Such a scary ghost.
Yeah, so scary, you guys. Kyle has made a costume of the entire solar system complete with
It's honestly
working.
really cute.
It's a pretty good costume,
It's a cute
actually.
costume.
So, folks at home, as we've talked about different Halloween costumes for you and your family during the holidays, or during the holidays.
Yeah.
That's Halloween's a holiday. The working model of the solar system would be a pretty sweet.
Yes.
That'd be pretty
You could
rad.
be the sun, and then it all, like, rotates around you. It's very cute.
Yeah. I mean, Chewbacca, of course. But yeah, the solar
Right.
system one, pretty good.
I mean, I guess you could do, like, the Star Wars solar system, and then you could have a little Chewbacca, like, planet.
Dagobah and
Yeah, little Chewbacca's on it.
Yeah.
You're saying all these words, and I'm just like, Tatooine?
Yeah, that's one. yeah, you got it.
I got it.
Second place goes to Kenny for his Edward James Olmos costume. Rachel,
I don't know
do you know who Edward
is.
James Olmos is? Yeah, look him
No.
up because you'll get why that was a joke once you see him.
Is it just because he's, like, old and kind of, like, pocky?
I think it's because he's like super pocky. Yeah.
Okay.
So he looks like he could be a zombie.
His skin is just really, like, divoted.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how to, like,
Terrible.
explain it. It's just kind of, like, you know, bumpy, like,
Yeah.
ridged.
I think that's a pretty good joke. They will make even more of like a just flat out Edward James Olmos parody later on in the series.
Of course
which
they
we'll
will.
get to one day.
Of course they will.
First prize, however, goes to Wendy for her Chewbacca costume.
Which doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid.
It makes no sense because despite having the same costume as everybody else.
Right.
It's very odd. This is where Kyle says, "Up yours, Teeny Others."
Right.
Which the guys found out that Teeny Others, I guess, was in a band or something back in the day. And she would use that as like the opening clip.
Really?
She thought it was funny. Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's so fun.
she
Up
was
yours.
a good sport about it. Yeah.
I love that. It's so random. Be like, oh, they actually put me in their show. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then like decides to keep it.
Yeah, she got it. Yeah.
Good for her.
And worst
What a
costume.
sport.
Yeah. And worst costume goes to Stan for his stupid little clown guy costume. And I love that he goes, "All right, children, let's all point and laugh at Stan."
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. I like that that's like a tradition. I feel like they
Yes.
should have this
Yes.
all the time, everywhere. Like, okay, who has the worst costume? And then
Worst
point and laugh
costume
at them.
gets point and laughed at, yes.
Next
Yeah.
Halloween party, this is what has to happen. You have the best
Yeah.
costume and you have the worst
Only
costume.
with adults, though, folks. Like, only with adults.
Yes.
Don't point and laugh
Not
at children.
who don't know what's happening. Okay.
Unless they're in on it. If they understand
if
it,
they
that's one
understand that they have the worst costume and that was their plan. Okay?
thing. Yes.
Don't be mean
But-
to children.
Yes. Please do not be mean
Unless
to
they're
children.
little
Unless they're...
turds.
I was about to say the same thing.
I'm
Unless
sorry.
They're a little fucking turd.
You know, like carpet.
I'm glad that we had the same thought process. Like, don't make fun of children. Well, you know what?
If they're little turds
There's a disclaimer. Yeah. Everybody knows a little turd child.
Oh
like
god,
that.
there's a lot of little turd children out there. Stupid little turd
Yeah.
children.
Stan is mad at this, of
course
because
he's
he's getting
mad.
made fun of. And Wendy's like, no, don't worry about it, Stan. You'll feel better when we go trick-or-treating. And he's like, I don't want to go trick-or-treating with you. You screwed me over and made me
Right.
look stupid.
Right. Everybody's like making fun of me and it's stupid.
So then they go to Bob for apples, and Bebe gets to go first. So, just put the clip of Garrison saying this line.
Okay, children, let's all gather around and bob for stupid apples now. You go first, baby. That's good. Just use those mouth muscles like the girls in Beijing.
Braids.
Wait your turn, Clyde.
I don't even know what
I don't know what it means.
I know what it means,
like,
but I
you know
don't know what it
but,
means.
Like, yes, we all know what it means.
Why
But
is
what
it
does
the
it
girls
mean?
in Beijing? Folks at home, why is it the girls in Beijing?
Why is it so specific? It's so specific.
So anyway, Kenny bites Bebe, and Mr. Garrison is like, wait your turn, Kenny.
Yep, that's it. No, it wasn't Kenny.
Oh, it's Clyde. You're right.
It's
I'm
Clyde.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's Clyde.
Because Clyde, like, Kenny is patient zero in this, so he doesn't turn, like, full zombie.
wandering around. He
Wander
only bites
zombie,
it when he feels
right?
like
Yeah.
it. Like, he doesn't bite the boys, because he's like, these are my friends, I'm not going to bite them, but I'm going to bite, like, everybody else that we go trick-or-treating with.
But, like, when I get hungry, I'm going to eat somebody else. And then he kind of, like, is satiated for a little while, but it's like, the other zombies seem to just be, like, zombies that are just, like, constantly
Total
craving.
zombies.
Yeah.
So, a guy tries to bite Chef, and he tells him that he has pink eye, and he's like, "Get the hell away from me, Johnson! I don't want your damn pink eye." And he
I'm
gets
assuming
to the
like a
house.
neighbor, right? Like
Yeah, it's like one of his neighbors. And he starts watching TV. Again, why this episode just stands out to me as like quintessential first season, like this is South Park to me.
Yes.
Is there's a news report and they're like Pinkeye, like Pinkeye's running rampant throughout the city and it's causing mayhem and destruction. And he's like,
"Commie bastards, and screw their little wussy space station." In other news, a pink eye epidemic is now sweeping the town of South Park. Here with a live report is a midget wearing a bikini. Thanks, Tom. Already more than half the townspeople here in South Park have been infected with the pink eye virus.
that is so
it's
South Park.
so South Park. It's just so random.
And that's exactly what the reporter is. It's a little person wearing a bikini.
It is. Like, yep, there it is.
Thanks, Tom. Here I am live in Main Street. Yes.
Yes.
So the town is being destroyed by zombies. They are calling it pink eye, and Chef's like, "There's no way that's pink eye. I know exactly what
He's
that is."
seen this before, is what
Yes!
he says. And I want the backstory. I want the backstory on how Chef has seen this before.
They could have done an entire spin-off series of Chef's adventures.
I would love that.
Isaac Hayes didn't
Wanna
become
leave.
a Scientologist and then die.
Yeah.
The boys have their little pumpkin buckets, which I thought was very cute.
Oh, I love that. It's adorable.
Are these still a thing? Because when we were little kids, the pumpkin buckets were a thing.
I think they're still the same. I think they have, like, the pumpkin buckets and all those types of
Yeah?
things. Yeah, we even
I
had the
hope
one
so.
that looked like a hand, and it had, like, the bag. And I think they still use those even, right? Or maybe I'm just, like...
I don't know. I mean,
a lot of kids just
didn't
carry, like, a random, like, bag now, but...
Yeah, I didn't like the hand with the bag. I liked the pumpkin bucket.
Oh, no, the pumpkin bucket is cute, yeah.
The bucket was better, in my opinion.
Or
in
you
this
just have the
man's
random
opinion.
kids with pillowcases.
Pillowcases.
Just grab your pillowcase.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters anymore, so I don't really know, just
Yeah.
because of where I'm at, but...
Sure. I think
I
it's
wonder if we're
very
talking-
mixed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's still very mixed. So they make fun of Cartman's mom again. Kyle shows up. He's now dressed as Dracula.
Yeah, he changed it. This is his third
He
costume.
changed his outfit again. I don't know why he didn't just come as I guess because he didn't think it was good enough. He
Yeah,
didn't win the costume
because he
contest.
didn't win, so now he's like, well, I have to be something else.
They are going down the checklist. I like that they said that they're bringing a taser for people that give them crappy treats.
I wonder if they were given the taser for, like, you know, weirdos
I
that,
bet-
like, attack
yeah.
them, but
In
that's what
case
they were
something
interpreting
happened,
it
and
as.
they're like, we're gonna, That's what I think, too. Like, I think Stan's mom was like, and take this just in case you need it. And instead of thinking, oh, just in case somebody attacks us or tries to kidnap me.
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, if somebody gives me, like, an apple, I'm going to tase them for a...
Right.
for
Like,
a
how dare
candy.
you? I don't want a
Yeah.
pencil. Like, what is this? Can't even eat this.
Kenny comes to, because he...
Of course he does.
Knew
this
he
was
had
his
to
plans.
come
These were his
trick-or-treating,
plans, yeah.
It was in his head. And then Wendy comes by, because Wendy was planning to go trick-or-treating with the guys. They're, like, mad at her, of course, and she's like, oh, I didn't keep any of that candy. I gave it to starving kids in Nairobi or something like
right.
that. And she just wants to go trick-or-treating with them. Like, that's what
Yeah,
she
she doesn't even have her costume on anymore. She's just Wendy at this point.
Yeah. And Stan is like, I don't want you to come. You ruined the day for me.
Right.
And they walk away from her. And as they walk away, the zombies attack Wendy.
Yep. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad that she got attacked. I mean, the sad part is that, I mean, the funny and ironic thing is that Stan did tell her, like, to drop dead or, like, I wish you were
that's
dead.
right.
And
Yes,
then
I'm
the
glad that you
zombies
remembered
attack
that.
her.
Yes.
But...
Yes. Very cinematic. Very narratively done.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
Very good. Chef goes to the doctor, telling him that it is not pink eye. And the doctor's like, well, maybe the pink eyes just made you delirious, Chef. That you think
like,
that
he
there's,
expects him to
zombies."
have it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chef's like, no. I'll demonstrate that this is that they're dead. So
and the doctor has a patient in the room.
there's a patient in the room. So Chef walks over and he just pulls this guy's arm off. And he's like, see? And the guy's like bleeding out. And the doctor's like, well, actually, that guy was just here for his annual checkup.
Yeah, he didn't have pink eye.
Like, oh, sorry. And he tries to put the arm back in.
Yes.
But the guy just bleeds out and dies on the floor instead.
But Chef's like on a mission at this point. I mean, honestly, with the zombie apocalypse, you can't worry about these things where you accidentally pull somebody's arm off. You gotta keep going.
Yeah, you gotta just keep going. If you're gonna kill a few alive people, but if the zombie apocalypse is there, you just gotta
gotta keep going.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Keep trucking. You're fine.
Yeah. That's Rachel's motto for the zombie apocalypse. Keep trucking.
So then we find out that the first people who came in with Pinkeye were the morgue people.
Chef must be trying to put together a theory here, or Chef is thinking we might have to go to the morgue to see if, like, we might be able to find something there.
Right. To figure out what's going on or how to stop it.
As they're doing this, the zombies attack the doctor's office, and Chef jumps out the window to escape. And the doctor's like, don't worry, make a line. I have enough topical cream for all of you.
Of course.
But they attack him anyway and take out the doctor. The boys are trick-or-treating.
Yes.
And Kenny bites an old lady who had Sweetie Pops.
Of course.
So took a Sweetie Pop away. This whole episode and just talking about them going trick-or-treating and stuff, first of all, I love the fact that they have an episode where the boys just go trick-or-treating and all of this ensues. It's making me so, like, sweet tooth for candy.
Oh my god. It's like, so hard not to, like, want some candy now every time.
Like, I really just want some candy. And Chef goes to the mayor, who is sleeping with Barbary.
Doing something with Barbary.
Having sex with Barbary.
Yeah.
They're doing some sort of sexual act.
Yes.
And there's a big pile of money on the table. And they ensure Chef that it has nothing to do with the Japanese mafia.
Right.
Not a thingy-dingy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but
yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's a whole other episode that they've never made.
That's right.
They dismiss Chef's crazy idea that there is zombies, and he says, "Oh, to hell with you both," and he just leaves. So he can't get help from the mayor or the police, so he's gonna have to do it himself. That's what they're setting up with Chef here.
Exactly.
They go to another guy's house for trick-or-treating. He's got some sort of peanut butter yum-yums. I figured this was made up.
Well, it
like
sounds kind of like it's I mean, it's got to be like a Nutter Butter or something, right?
Oh, a Nutter Butter.
You know where it's like
I could go for a good Nutter Butter. I love Nutter Butters. Folks at home, if you want to send Nutter Butters to Shelf Life, you do that. Yeah, that might be what it was. But Kenny instead bites this guy too.
Of course.
And he starts like just nibbling on
he's
this
like
guy's
eating
head.
this one.
Yeah. I love the chewing noises that crunching noises that they make with it.
Yeah.
And the boys have no reaction. They're just staring at him.
They're annoyed, actually.
Yeah. Because they're like, Kenny, like, every time that we're going to get the candy, you just eat the person. Like, we want to get the candy.
Right.
So they tell Kenny that he can't trick-or-treat with them anymore. And they move on without him.
Right.
They go to the KKK house. So I guess the Klan's having a meeting at somebody's house.
They're having a party. It's Halloween.
You think that they would dress up for...
Maybe it's a meeting and then the party?
Yeah, that's true.
So their costumes are on underneath their Klan costumes?
Which we do see in a future episode of South Park.
So there you go.
So there you go.
It's canon.
Yeah. But I mean, they are idiots. So maybe they just thought that they could get away with it.
Oh yeah, maybe they just are dressed up. Yeah.
And the Klan, folks at home, remember, are cheap bastards because they only gave one Tootie Bar to Cartman, and they only gave one to Cartman.
That's it.
So
yeah,
they're like, these cheap bastards. Yeah.
Of course.
Because they think Cartman is not dressed as a spooky ghost. They think that he's dressed as one of them.
Right. So, of course, he's the only kid that's going to get one. They probably wouldn't have given any of them anything.
Yeah, that's a good call. I don't know. Well, I mean, Cartman's previous costume, they probably would have given him something, too.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But you're saying if a normal person came up
If a normal person, they would have just slammed the door in their face.
I don't know if they... Yeah, I don't even know
why do they answer it? Don't even answer your door.
They make it to Chef's, who answers the door with chainsaws,
as you should. It is a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, he is in Ash. He's in Ash versus the Evil Dead mode with with these chainsaws.
I do love that he thinks that the zombies would, ring the doorbell though too. Like...
Yes, yes, that they would be ready and willing to ring the doorbell for sure. Chef tells Cartman he's gonna whoop his ass the next time he sees him for wearing that, but for
As
now,
he
like,
should.
get inside. Yeah, like we have bigger fish to fry, and then I'll whoop your ass later.
Right.
So Chef is packing weapons to go to the morgue, and he tells the boys like, "We'll go with because we know that something's gonna happen at the morgue." And the boys are frightened, and there's a little fart joke to break the tension.
Of
I like
course.
that. You gotta do a little fart joke to break the tension. I love even in that fart joke that they all like start laughing, and Cartman's like, "It was Kyle. It was a Kyle." Like, it's something that's very observed of like little kids or
Yeah, it was definitely a little
men in their
thing.
mid-30s that
Of
fart in
course.
front of each other.
Yes.
They're in the morgue and they're saying, Cartman's saying, "Focus on the candy. Remember the candy." Because they're like,
right, because they're scared. Because now they're going to like,
well,
it's creepy and.
They're also like, we need to stop the zombie apocalypse because if everyone turns into zombies, they're not going to give us candy.
That's right.
So we need to stop this so that we can get back to trick-or-treating.
Priorities. This is Halloween.
Kyle finds a copy of Crack Whore magazine.
Of course he does.
With Eric's mom on the cover.
As she was, yeah, as we know, yeah.
As we know, yeah. And Chef's like, "You better give me that, Kyle."
Not to get away from him.
Yeah. And they find the Worcestershire sauce. So they find it, left there, and they're like, "Hey, this seems like odd to be in here." It says on the back of it, "Don't use with embalming fluid."
That's
so
right.
They really should have been paying attention to that a little bit more.
Maybe they need to make that like bigger,
Yeah.
like brighter.
Yeah. Make that more of an alert for sure.
Yeah.
So as they find the sauce, the zombies break in. They start to try to get out, but the zombies are like surrounding them, and they're like, "Chef, help." And then they realize that Chef has been turned into zombie Michael Jackson.
That's right.
He's wearing the...
All of a sudden, the second he was bit, he turned into Michael Jackson.
Yes.
With the chef's hat.
Didn't take any gradual thing at all. He's Chef as Thriller Michael Jackson, does the Thriller dance and everything. It's kind of fun. He does like a whole
sings.
routine.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. A Chef song, but he does it as Michael Jackson. The boys run out, or like a wall breaks down or something here, and they find a payphone in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Very odd spot for it.
Just a random payphone.
Yeah. And Kyle calls the hotline number, but while they're doing that, Stan and Cartman are like, "We'll take care of the zombies." And they begin to use the chainsaw and just chainsaw down some zombies.
Right, chopping the heads off, doing all they need to.
I thought this was a lot of fun. Like, just watching the gore and just how gruesome it was to just watch them, like, chopping them all up with the chainsaws. I thought this would have been, like, a good video game level.
Yeah, I could see that being a video game level. Absolutely.
Zombie Chef, meanwhile, while all this is going on, is just looking at the Crack Whore magazine.
As his brain remembers, that's what he would be doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. Kyle is on hold while this is all happening, and Zombie Wendy comes up, and Stan is hesitant to kill her. Cartman's trying to convince him that he should, because she's a zombie now.
Right.
In the meantime... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking, because I'm like, well, Cartman could have just killed her for him, but I feel like he's trying to make Stan do it.
That's true, yes. I think he wants Stan to do it as some sort of Cartman, it's Cartman, so
yeah, right.
It makes sense. Kyle finally gets through with the Worcestershire sauce place. Worcestershire, did I say that right?
I think you said Worcestershire.
Yeah. And the Worcestershire lady tells Kyle not to just go around decapitating zombies left and right.
Welcome to the Worcestershire Sauce Customer Service Hotline. For Worcestershire Sauce recipes, please press 1 followed by the pound sign. For Worcestershire Sauce product placement, please press 2. If Worcestershire Sauce has been used as embalming, please press...
Nobody screws up my trick-or-treat and gets away with it. Yeah, kids. Sweet.
Worcestershire Sauce Emergency Hotline. This call might be monitored to ensure you the highest quality service. How may I help you?
There's a bunch of zombies here.
Please hold.
Wendy? Finish her, dude. She's a zombie now. I know, but come on, Stan. Remember how she dissed you at the costume contest? Hey, yeah.
For the regular source, the first thing you need to do is make
sure that you do not just go out and start decapitating zombies left and right, you understand? Do not start decapitating
zombies left and right.
Okay. Then what?
So then when it finally gets through, they, like, you know, the specialty, this, like, woman's specialty is to deal with the zombie outbreaks.
Exactly. And, like, the first thing she says, like, well, first off, do not just start chopping heads off.
Yes. The solution here is that you have to kill the original zombie.
Right. It's kind of like a vampire lore
and then
here.
all the others will turn back to normal. In the commentary, Matt and Trey are like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
That's, like, stupid. But that, like, who cares? Like,
No.
it doesn't have to
But
make
you
sense.
went with vampire lore. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's a Halloween episode, guys.
Yeah, it could be
It
whatever.
doesn't need to make
be.
sense. It doesn't.
Because they said that they didn't know how to end it, because they were like, we need everybody to turn back to normal, but they had no idea how to get it there, so.
Yeah.
And he asks the Worcestershire lady how to tell who the original zombie was, and she just starts going on a spiel about, like, we know that you have many choices in the Worcestershire sauce, so he just hangs up on her.
Right.
Kyle puts it together, because he's like, wait, Kenny went to the morgue when that thing fell on him. So he saws Kenny in half with a chainsaw right down the middle. After he does that, all the people turn back to normal.
Even the dead ones with their heads
Even
chopped
the dead ones, and that's the best thing, is like all the ones that they killed already, they turn back to normal, but they're just dead.
But they're
and, like,
just dead.
decapitated. That's
Body
so
parts
great.
everywhere. Not green anymore. It's great.
Yeah, it's so great. The kids are like, great, now we can go back to trick-or-treating. And there's just blood and bodies everywhere. Wendy apologizes to Stan, finally. And Stan's like, all right, you know, we're cool, I get it. And then Wendy's like, maybe we can kiss now, Stan. And Stan, of course,
Just
vomits
gets
on her.
sick. Yep.
And in the closing scene of the show, the boys are lamenting Kenny's death at his grave. Cartman was very Cartman in this scene, especially, too, because he starts just bawling, crying about Kenny being dead.
Yes.
He's kind of faking it, because, like, he just immediately is, like, stops and is like, well, all right, let's move on. Stan is trying to say that he's learned what Halloween is all about. And he's like, it's about giving and this and that. and Kyle's like, no, that's what Christmas is all about. And Stan's like, well, what is Halloween all about? And Kyle's like, costumes and candy.
That's right.
And it's like, yeah, that is all Halloween is about. It's just supposed to be about costumes and candy.
I mean, typically, yeah. If you go back to
And
the actual,
scary
like,
movies.
lore of Halloween, like, yeah, of course, there's actually, like, you know, the Day of the Dead, like we were talking about before, and there's actually, like, stuff going along with it.
There is
but
actual stuff. Yeah.
The hallmark Halloween that we all know is scary movies, costumes, and candy.
And scary podcasts.
That's right.
Like ours. Yeah.
Ooh.
So they make fun of his mom one more time and how she took those pictures like a month ago. They weren't like from when she was young or anything. And they walk away. Kenny's hand pops out of the grave for one last scare, but before he can get out of the grave, the angel statue next to him falls on him, and then a plane hits him.
Crashes. Yeah. I thought there was going to be more, but it was just
like
those two.
One more thing would have
One
probably
more
been
thing.
good, but yeah.
Right before, like, the credits ended. That would be great.
Yeah. But that is it cuts immediately to the credits, which I love that it's just a very, very immediate cut to the credits.
Yep.
And that is the end of Pinkeye. So, Rachel, what did you think of the episode? What did you think of Pinkeye?
I think it's a fun Halloween episode. I like this one because it's zombies. I've always been like into like the zombie stuff, and it's like a really silly way of it happening, but you know it should be. It's South Park, so I like it.
Zombies can be overdone, especially in our modern culture, but
of course.
Done right and done well, zombies can be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I really, really like this episode. I almost said I love this episode.
Ooh.
It's going to be interesting to see where this all shakes out in the rankings at the end. For me, I can vividly remember, I don't know why, but I can vividly remember watching this episode for the first time in my friend's basement.
Oh,
I don't know if that's a fake memory or not, but I feel like that's where we watched it.
Sure.
And for me, this is like the first like classic episode. I think that this episode is a lot of fun. I think it's goofy and silly. I think it represents the best parts of those type of episodes of South Park, of being goofy and silly and still like having, you know, parody and stuff like that. The guys, Matt and Trey, because they were like weren't confident in the ending. They thought that people weren't going to like this episode. They thought that people were going to think it's like they were like, I guess it's like a bad episode. Like we're I guess we're
it's
gonna
one of
have
those weird one-offs that are just gonna be like throw away.
And then people generally think that this is a very good episode, and I like
yeah. Well, I mean, I like that
really
it's like
great.
a themed like episode too. So it's like it's just fun.
I think this is a very, very fun episode of South Park. So, folks, for those of you at home, hopefully that this is, becomes part of your routine, I think. I think this one is a rewatchable one for Halloween for sure. Hopefully that this part of the podcast is part of your seasonal listenings as well. Okay, so Rachel and I have to get headed over to that costume contest. Did you figure out what you're going to wear yet?
Well, I think I have something.
Okay. Yeah. You're not going to tell me what it is?
No, it's a surprise.
All right. I'll tell you what I'm going to wear.
Okay, what are you going to wear?
Chewbacca.
Of course you are.
All right, we're going to head out to this contest. We'll be back, though, next time with more South Park. Okay, do you have the costume? Are you?
I have it. I have it.
2 tons of candy, Rachel.
I know.
Well, let's get home, start eating that candy.